Does anyone have any questions about anything? Islam.
Islam.
Islam, Grand Rising.
Grand Rising.
Grand Rising.
Islam. Grand Rising. Grand Rising. Islam.
Gloria Balaskowski, Texas Church.
Islam.
Islam.
Excuse me.
Islam. This is Michelle Talbot Bay, Virginia Territory.
Indiana Territory.
Islam.
Grand Rising. I'm wondering if anyone can report on what they have been noticing in their territories based on some of our demonstrations. Can anybody see any of the connections?
Now that's the right thing. Oh my goodness.
Could you please repeat that, Empress? Could you repeat that?
Yes. I wanted to know if anybody was taking note of what was happening in their territories and if they can make any connections based on our demonstrations so far. I yield.
Islam.
Islam.
I know that the Army refused to work with Trump. If that helped us. Grand Rising.
Grand Rising.
He said he was going to follow the Constitution. I guess that's the Moors, on the backdrop of that. How about that? What do you think?
That is one. That is one. Islam, Grand Rising.
Amen.
I'd like to say something for the Texas Territory regarding the post office. They are taking down and have already taken down some of the signs that said United States Postal Services. So now most of them just say post office.
Islam, and what territory is that in, Empress?
Texas, and I'm in Dallas.
Islam.
Same here in Michigan.
Islam.
Same here in Michigan.
All right.
Michigan.
Grand Rising, Moors.
Grand Rising.
Grand Rising.
Can anyone else share a demonstration for their territory?
Once you do the demonstration, then
Well, I can say here in Virginia Territory, they started taking down the Confederate statues, and that's happening all over in Virginia Territory. And there was a slave in Fredericksburg, Virginia, and that has come down also. And that's coming down. Those Confederate statues and symbols are coming down throughout the territory. Grand Rising to the Moors and our demonstrations. I yield.
Islam.
Grand Rising.
Islam Moors, it's Melo from Arizona Territory. The only thing that I can attest to is with regard to the postal mailings. Before the mailings, the free mailings that we were doing exactly the way that Justice Light showed us to do them, I'd been sending things before and having, just some success with some things, but not all. And I'm happy to report that none of my mailings have come back. They've all been delivered. So that part is working. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Grand Rising. Anyone else? Can anyone attest to some changes that we're seeing regarding our demonstrations?
Yes, again, Gloria Bay in Texas. The mailings that the lady the Empress just spoke about, I was sending out with lowercase, with all black letters, and you know how we used to write. And then from the demonstration that Empress Light put on YouTube, I wrote Moorish National Republic Federal Government, then I put my appellation, and I put consul, and then everything else was the same. All my mail went through, but before then, with all the black ink, some of my stuff didn't go through. But now everything is working. Thank you.
Islam.
There's symbolism in everything. Everything.
Right.
And they know.
Right, and they know who we are for sure.
Yeah, they just hoping we don't know.
Well, they know we know now because of our demonstrations. So they're cleaning things up for us, like I stated before. So that's less that we have to do when we get there. I'm not sure if anybody is aware that there's been a posting of all of the corporation's EIN numbers. Now, if that's not testimony about what we've done in uncovering all of the capitalism, I'm not really sure what it is. I mean, they have Grand Rising is fine. So all of the governmental EIN numbers have been posted for the public record. The United States Inc., Federal Reserve Banks, insurance companies, secret societies and cults, all of them. So that tells me that all of those other coverings and all of the decapitalization processes that we've done not only have been working, but they have exposed themselves completely.
Islam Empress, where are those?
The part about it is, if I may interject.
Yes.
And the cold part about it is how we shut them down. They're using these protests to cover it up. They're using this COVID-19 to cover it up. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But the Moors did this. Those that know who they are. Islam, I yield.
Islam. Yes, this is Emperor Valley, Walker Bay, Kansas territory. And there is a platform called Camelo, CAMALEO.com, where you can place your records, your documents for free on this platform. And I have mine set up on this platform. And since I've had mine set up on this platform, I have had 273 views. So they're watching, they're looking at our document. So this is a free platform. If anybody wants to post their documents on this platform, it's called Camelo.com, and it's free.
Can you spell it again?
It's CAMALEO, and I place all my documents there, and it's a great platform, and it's free, and they're watching those documents because I've had over 273 views already. Islam, I yield.
Islam, Grand Rising.
Someone asked, where did they see those EIN numbers? I followed this lady called Nobel L, and I saw it there. It's NOBEL space EL. And
right.
She's in Jamaica.
The document is called the document is called the EINs of various governmental services and organizations. Actually, I think that is not the exact name. Let me pull it up, and I'll put it in the chat, and I'll repeat it the way it's actually, because there's a document, and I've actually saved it, and so it's something that we can all download and have for our own record. I'll pull it up and put it in the chat, and I'll repeat it for those who cannot see the chat. Anyone else? Or any questions?
Well, I know in New York territory, New York City territory, the city hasn't opened up. Every few weeks, it's stated that the city will open up on a certain date, and it comes to that date, and then nothing. It pushes it back to the next month.
Yeah, it's chess, not checkers.
I have a question.
Yes.
You said on the Camelio, whatever that website is, if I put my documents up on notice there, should I still go to my county's recorder and put them up on notice here?
Islam, this is Empress Valerie Barker Bay. I just put them on Camillo, and they've been looking at those documents, and I've had so many good results because I had a case with the bankruptcy, like a bankruptcy court, and I posted all my documents there, and we were going back and forth, and I was rebutting everything they said, and finally I got a letter from them saying that since you would not turn your property over to us, we are now discontinuing this case, and you owe us $340. I mean, that was a win-win for me and all Moors because I posted everything on the public record, and they just dropped the case finally after over a year. I've been battling with them for a year, but when I start bringing my Moors documents in, they start backing down. They start changing their minds, and they just finally just dropped it. So
they know they have
our
no
documents
fight.
are working.
Islam, Thomas L. Bay, Indiana Territory. Can you spell that for me one more time?
Islam, are you talking about the website?
Yeah.
I think it's CA. Let me pull it up and I'll put it in the chat. I think I put it in the chat, but I may have put it in there wrong. But let me pull it up and I'll put it in the chat again. Islam.
Okay.
You have CAMALEO.com.
Yeah, CAMALEO.com.
CAMALEO.com.
CAMALGO.com. Islam.
Islam, this is Melo in Rojo, Arizona Territory. I had to step away for a second. I had read in the chat from Wilton, Noble Wilton Turk. He needs the artwork for the Great Seal. Does anybody have that to give to him? Noble, are you on the line?
Yes, I'm on the line, but I'm muted.
Oh.
Oh, I guess I'm unmuted now.
Did anyone want to help Noble Wilton with that? Any takers? If not, I'll try to. I'll try to get that over to you, Noble.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Does anyone else have any questions? Or
Yes.
we're still waiting for Justice Light. if I can't answer, I'm sure there's lots of more knowledgeable Moors online than they're more knowledgeable than I am. So
Islam, yes. I'm just waiting for the EIN.
Oh, is that what we're doing? I'm sorry. I had to step away for a second. Sorry.
Yeah. I would like to know the website for the EIN of the
Well, you know, you can also, well, if she, I think that's what she's looking up. Okay. You can find this.
Right.
I'll just wait for her. I'll wait for her.
Yeah, I have the exact website. I've actually downloaded the documentation, so it is something that we can have for our own records. And I'm looking in my notes to make sure that I give the right title for the document. So if anyone else wants to share anything, I yield.
I'd like to ask, someone put a link to the Provost 200 Military Police Command, U.S. Army Reserve. Is that for all states? I yield.
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, someone posted a link for the Provost Marshal Officer. It's in your territory, but it's in Fort Meade, Maryland. Would that include Texas or any other state? Islam.
Now there's a main provost.
I think that's the main provost.
That's somebody posted the main provost, Office of the Provost Marshal General Kevin Vereen. That's the main one. I don't know if Empress, the one that asked the question, are you on the online or just on the phone?
Online. Computer.
Oh, okay. Yes, I think it was Noble Theodore Bay. He posted that. 2800 Army Pentagon, Washington D.C. 20310.
I'm aware of that, but it was Duwad Abdul, whatever. It's truncated. That person put 200 Military Police Command, and it's different. I'm familiar with General Vereen. I'm not familiar with this other site that he made the link to.
Maybe that. I think. Oh, go ahead, Empress.
No, we want to use Vereen.
Okay.
And then he can send out to your territory if he feels that's necessary. But he's the one that we should send our documents to.
Islam.
I got a treaty question. Anybody studied on the treaty? Islam?
Islam, go ahead, Noble.
I'm reading the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, and I got to Article 10, and it's speaking of Christian powers within gunshot range. Just basically, where's the coast of Wadnoon? Where is that?
Islam, I'm not sure on that.
Where is what?
Okay, any Moors out there that are studying the treaty? Yes, it's not the platform for that.
Yeah, that's what it is. But you said where is what? Where is what?
Wadnoon. WADNOON. If you look at Article 10, the Treaty of Peace and Friendship.
There's a lot of noise from someone. Can you mute your... I just want to interject that Justice Light just put in the chat. He said, "We are the provost marshal." I wonder if that's right. We nationalize just about everything, so we nationalize the armies, like she said before. So we are the provost marshal. We are everything.
Islam. Can you hear me at this time? I can't get back to my screen. Are you all hearing me?
Yes.
Okay. I have the web. I'm sorry. The name of that document.
Okay.
It's called EIN. I'm not able to get to the screen to type it in the chat, but as soon as
EIN.
Yes, it's uppercase EIN, lowercase s.
S.
Okay, and then lowercase for the, uppercase U, lowercase NITED, uppercase S for state, comma, uppercase I, lowercase NC, and all lowercase, uppercase C for child, uppercase C in corporations, dash, governmental, that's an uppercase G, governmental, uppercase S in services, corporation. And then there's the, so if you, I'll say it out, it's EINs for the United States Incorporated and Child Corporations, dash, governmental services, corporation. And then there's an HTML, so you can document the, you can download the documents for your records. And it lists everything. Everything has been uncovered. Everything.
All right.
I yield.
Islam.
Islam.
Okay. Let me go back to that.
So that means that they were considering everyone a child. Am I correct, Islam?
Well, there is another document. I'm going to see if I can find that. And this goes back. There was even a document, a baptismal certificate. I don't know if you all were aware of that. I know that I was aware of the birth certificate and the marriage certificate, the death certificate, but there was even a baptismal certificate in the the 12th and 13th century. So this goes back quite a bit, and in that information that I found, it wasn't just the children. I mean, it's the eggs in the womb, you know, that they started even before the birth. So we can't say it was just the children, you know what I mean? If we know that it goes. I'm going to try to get you the name of that other document. And in that document where it speaks about the birth certificate, the marriage certificate, the baptismal, it also goes into the unum sanctum. So it's a good document for us to look at and delve into to learn more about how all of this hypothecation, when it began. It goes deep. I yield.
Islam Empress?
Islam, Grand Rising.
Grand Rising, welcome.
Islam, Grand Rising,
Thank you.
Trinidad.
Islam, Grand Rising.
Grand Rising, Trinidad.
Grand Rising.
So I know.
Grand Rising.
Yes, thank you for continuing on. I know that this that's going on with this phone is a huge message from the ancestors. And so hold on for just a moment. Let me deal with this. Hold on for just a moment.
Yes.
Okay. And I'm going to be muting if there's a little bit of noise coming from certain areas. I'll mute those areas as well. So I know this is a huge message from the ancestors about the same things that we've been talking about lately, of getting more teachers and getting more of you involved in what's happening. Okay, in terms of, we need to hear from everybody, because all are sovereign, all are the leaders of this nation, And so if something happens to one of us, the rest of us need to be able to just step right on in and do the business of governing into perpetuity completely. It has to be that way at all times, no matter what's going on. Okay, and we know that we're going to be here. We're going to be here for 1,000 years or more, if not long. We're here forever anyway. But when each week in each thing that we do, we need to make it so that all of our actions are fluid, and that if one person or one more is unable to step in, that we have a backup. And I have to say, that test is passed because you all kept going, and that's what we have to do. That's what we have to do for each other. Regardless of what's going on for each other, we have to have each other's back all the time. I just wanted to say a couple of things, and then we can go right back to question and answer, because that's what we're here for, to assist one another with that. So with regard to just a few side notes, with regard to our ancient English that we've been using and writing and speaking, I mentioned this briefly before. In order for someone to accuse you of something, of a crime, let's just say, okay, they actually have to be speaking the same language as you. No one can accuse you of a crime in a different language and it be a valid accusation, because they have not, that language itself is a jurisdiction. And that is why our ancient English and the Moorish Latin and all of the blossom of languages that are coming just from us using ancient English is working. No one can say that we are a part of a corporation when we don't even speak the same language. We cannot be accused of anything, you see. No one can take property unless there is a translator for that. And there's no translator for sovereign English except another sovereign, which knocks out anything that they say anyway. Because they can say a word that sounds like, and they've been doing this the whole time. We thought they were saying our appellation when they were not. They were saying the name of a corporation in all capital letters, and that's not us. So that's not even proper identification. You have to know who you're talking to first before you can accuse someone of something, or before you can move on them in any way that is lawful. Foreclosures and all of that stuff is unlawful because it's not even in our jurisdiction. It's not even in the right jurisdiction. Debt is not in our jurisdiction. And that's the purpose also of our ancient English that we use. And for those who are new or who may not quite understand the ancient English use. Ancient English is simply, hold on for just a moment, I'm getting a little bit of feedback from somewhere. So I'm going to mute just a few that are coming up on the noise scale, and I'm okay. And so in order for any of that stuff to take place, it has to be first in the right jurisdiction. Can you hear me? Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes,
and
we can.
Yes. And so now we already know what corporate jurisdiction is about. We know already. Let me see, there's a little bit of echo coming from here. Okay. We know what corporate jurisdiction looks like on paper because that's what they taught us in those animal education camps. They taught us in the education camp how to spell in a corporate fashion and how to use capital letters, etc. So for those who are new and who don't quite understand the ancient English part, ancient English is any spelling that is not corporate. Any word that is spelled or used or defined or intended to be outside of the corporate spelling that they taught. That is what ancient English writing and speaking is all about. So I can say that I'm Pauline Denise Ritchie. Well, I'm speaking ancient English, which is in all lowercase letters. So that absolutely is not. That absolutely is not corporate language. Not at all. Not at all. Okay. Also, for those who may be a little bit shy about speaking out, I would, just as a suggestion, because we need to hear from you. We need to hear from all sovereigns. And all sovereigns, we all need to be speaking to one another at all times. Okay? Maybe practice at home doing a little short video about nationality, because there's so many people, even if you just read your name change in judicial proclamation and do a short video about that, that is going to be enough to wake someone else up. It's going to wake up at least one more sovereign. And that's what we need. Now, what we've been seeing in D.C., where I'm just so proud of Empress Muriel Bowser. She is doing an awesome, awesome job in District of Columbia Territory, standing up in as much as she can in that citizen status. She's standing and assisting so that the Moors that are getting ready to know who they are, because that's coming. That's what this is all about also, is prepping all of the Moors who are asleep, like all the ones that have been marching for quote-unquote civil rights. They are being prepared in their subconscious to get ready to wake up. Okay?
It's Let's go.
Islam, Empress, can I ask you a question?
It's on the Google Play Store, Play.
Okay, go ahead. Sure. Empress, go ahead.
In North Carolina, the Gullah people, their property is being taken away from them. Is it because it's not recognized in their deed, or not even deed, but what would the heir that left them this land, and the Europeans are just going in there and just taking it? It seems like.
So they have to declare their nationality. They must declare their nationality, and that's where we are right now. We Moors who know who we are the only ones who can actually keep policy enforcers and everyone away. They are subject to us, and they know it. And so those who have the other rich histories and things, they're going to have to actually go even further back than them being called Gullah people. Okay? They're going to have to go further back, all the way back to their true ancestry as Moorish American nationals.
Yes.
As ancient, original, indigenous, sovereign, living, natural, divine Moors. They must go all the way back to that in order to, because see, all land is actually coming out of that system and being given a control of it is being placed where it should be. Okay? And so anyone, no matter who you are, no matter what you look like, no matter what history you're claiming and all of that, no matter what you're claiming, the sovereign Moorish American courts are the only courts that have the authority to give and take and tribute and distribute land and resources. So they're going to have to declare nationality. And I know that someone may have left them, it may have been passed down, the land, through Moors, but in the passing down of the land, it was hypothecated. And that's the only reason why anyone can even attempt to take it or claim to take it. You see. And so they're going to have to know who they are and declare it publicly, who they are, and then enforce it with court action. And they will, the land will stay right where it always has been, with the heirs. Heirship has gone through that whole hypothecation and corporate process, but not really. Because when those who are claiming any land, okay, whenever they claim any land, they have to go all the way back to where the land, who's the true initial heirs to the land and owners of the land, okay? And when you go all the way back, the furthest back anyone can go who is not claiming their nationality, the furthest back they can go is back to a land grant or a land patent.
My gates, get locked on my shed.
Okay. And when they go back, to land patents and land grants, those are all fraudulently based on the heirs. Everything stops right there because land grants and land patents are in capital letters. And that's actually where that all started. So all they have to do, really, declare their nationality, do a declaration of trust, terminate all corporate contracts, and then do a court action. All of that in all lowercase letters, and there you have it.
Wow.
That's what they have to do. It's that simple. And another thing I wanted to say even about that and about there are some Moors who have been saying that they are having problems getting MAC numbers. The reason that some are having problems getting MAC numbers is because there has been a quote unquote backlog. I would, and this is what again, the things that I say Only do them when you feel comfortable doing them. Don't do them before then. Only do them after you've done the research, okay? And you can stand on your demonstrations with everything we say. I know that this is the right way, but I'm not going to be there when you do your demonstration, okay? So you must know for sure. But with regards to numbers, those numbers, what I did, and I've shared this previously, is I had okay, so we know that they hypothecated our creditor status at birth, and then they started attaching all of this debt, like Social Security numbers. That's the ones with the minus sign in it. That's a debt instrument with capital letters. So what our government did is make that a sovereign security number with no minus sign, because that's actually a math problem that they're telling you, and it leaves you in the minus. That's why they put those in there, so that they could debt you on paper. But that's not even us. The real numbers come from us, this government, which is each and every more. And so I took that series of numbers in that format, but it's not the same number if it doesn't have the dashes in it. It's a different number. It doesn't have the same number of columns. When you do the math on it, it does not come up as a negative. It comes up as a creditor number, a 9-digit creditor number. And so I put in front of that as a prefix MACW in all lowercase letters, Morris American Consulate West for mine. And then I put my sovereign security number. So I would encourage you, if you feel comfortable, and only when you feel comfortable, to look into that. Look into the math of it, because math rules everything we do, okay? We are the true math. We're the right math, okay? And so, just a moment. There's a little bit of noise coming from right there. Okay. And so math, we want the math to be right on all that our government issues. We cannot issue debt at all. We can only issue credit because we're the creditors, okay? And so for those who want to go ahead and continue to do your demonstration, put MACW and your sovereign security number, okay? And that's your MAC number, okay? Only if you feel comfortable doing that. I've done it, and I've even shown my sovereign identification card, which I'm not at all shy about showing how it's done. Justice Abasi did make mine in all lowercase letters, and right now I'm headed to, I want to just grab it so you all can see how my ID card looks. I just want to show it to you real quick. Okay. I'm going to see if I can get it to show up on the screen. Okay. Just a second. Let me make sure you can see it. Okay. If you all can you see that? Hopefully you can.
Yes.
So, okay.
Oh, I have a full see it. I can see it, but it's not full screen.
Yeah, I can't see anything.
Okay.
You got it too close.
It's up there for those who are signed on by computer.
Yes, I see it.
Islam, I can't see it.
And what I did was, you can see there on the card where it says, right here where it says MACW, and then it has the sovereign security number with no dashes right there. That's the number of the creditor that was issued on the day my sovereign mother spoke my sovereign-born appellation. And so that is how we've been proceeding because in reality it's only valid if our government issues it. It's not valid if a corporation which cannot govern issues something. And so we take the debt out of it and make it a different number altogether. Just like our appellations, our sovereign-born names. Our sovereign-born names are not in all capital letters. They do not have any capital letters in them. Okay. Anthony K, I'm going to have to dismiss you from the meeting if you continue to unmute because there's so much noise in your background. So I'm muting just so that you can hear. Okay. And so we want to be sure, if you need a MAC number, you can use your sovereign security number as long as everything is in lowercase letters and there are no minus or debtor signs in it. Okay, it's not even the same number when there's no debtor signs in it because it's not a math problem. It's credit and not debt.
Islam.
Okay, so Islam. Only when you feel comfortable doing it. Only after you've done the research and you know that this is what you should do. Okay? That's what I've done, and it's working. Islam. Go ahead, Justice. Was there a question? I heard someone say Islam.
Islam.
Okay.
Empress Melo.
Yes.
For those that are new and may not overstand because they saw the picture of your ID. Can you go over and explain briefly to them how and why you would put race white?
Okay, so our race is Asiatic, okay, and then our status is white. We are sovereign white Americans. And white, okay, I'll go into the science of it. Our chromosome count, okay, has everything to do with why we are called white. And let me explain that. Our chromosome count, okay, first of all, chroma means color, and soma means body, okay? And our sovereign mothers, just a moment. Hold on just a second. 1 second. Just 1 second. Chroma means color, and soma means body. The Moorish American nationals do not have, they told us some things in those schools that's not true about us. It's true about the citizens, but not us. We do not have 46 chromosomes. We do not. We have 24 chromosomes. We have 23 plus 1. Okay? And the 23 is from our mother, okay, who is sovereign, and then the 1 is from on high, okay. Whereas those who are of Albion bloodline have, just a moment, they have 23 from their Albion mother and 23 from an earthly father. Okay, 23 from an earthly father. We don't have that. Okay, and from the beginning, sovereignty has everything, and being white has nothing to do with skin color and crayons. White is not an adjective, it's a noun. Just like black, when you're talking about the sovereign, it's not an adjective, it's a noun. And when you're talking about the Albions, because Albions are black at law, which means they are not indigenous to any land at all. So then that leads you to, where did they come from? Okay. If they're not indigenous to any land on earth, where did they come from? They came from our laboratory. We created them.
Islam.
5,780 years ago. And on this past Friday, Grand Sheikh Taj Sharif Bey on House of Reawakening Minds mentioned, he admonished everyone to look up corruption of bloodline, corruption of the blood. The Albions are a corruption in the sovereign bloodline. So for those who have, and that's not a put down, or that's not being ugly, it's being truthful. That truth must be acknowledged by all so that we can move past all of that and get on with the business of governing our land and doing what we do best. Okay? Which is everything. We do everything best. And so we have to acknowledge that they are a corruption of the sovereign white bloodline. And then that's why all over earth, they are citizens all over, everywhere. Every land that they go to, they become a citizen of that land. Unlike us, where everywhere we go, we're indigenous to the land. And there will be other indigenous, sovereign, natural, divine, white Moors. And again, white has nothing to do with skin color, because if that's the case, they're not even white in skin color. They're pink. And that's not a put down, it's the truth. Just like we're brown, and some of us are even darker than brown, and some of us are actually literally beautiful black in skin color. But that has nothing to do with science. The science of us is that we are white, and scientifically, at law, we're white. We are of the earth. We are the living, the breathing heirs. The same thing that the living universe is made of is the same thing that we're made of. Everything that has ever lived is made of the same thing that we're made of. Islam, go ahead, Justice.
Richard Wright Bey, I had a question about the chromosome. I've been searching for that fact. Is there any way I can look that up to study for myself?
All I can tell you is keep looking. I came across that information on a video that I posted about a year ago. And all of quote unquote science has known that. The video was about what they found in fake Israel over there. Okay. They found over there in fake Israel, and that's why they want to claim that part of the land. They found the makeup and the bloodline of our ancestors over there on some of the materials that were buried. They unburied them, and they noticed that there were some dark spots on them, etc. And they did some scientific testing, and it was determined that that was human, quote unquote, human blood, but not from them. It's human blood from the gods. And that same type of blood matches our genetic makeup. Now, it's not their job, again, and this is why we are to have our own erudite learning centers. It's not their job to tell us who we are. It's our job to do that. It's our job to tell the rest of the earth who we are, okay? And so only our scientists will know, will be able to look at chromosome count and say, yep, that's an heir. And no, this one is dark. They look like an heir, but they're not an heir because their grandmother was Albion. or their mother was Albion. Because there are some who look like us, and there are some that are dark, that look like us, that are not the heirs, based on scientific makeup, based on the science, the higher science of who they are. And that has to be acknowledged so that we can get on with governing our estate. We can't stop there at that information. There's no information that we can stop at and say, okay, well, you know, what do we do now? No, we acknowledge it and then we keep going.
Islam,
Okay.
Empress
Islam.
I just want to understand more of nationalizing and how we know who exactly is an heir. And I've understood that it leads back to the mother's lineage. So if their mother, or if their mother and mother's mother is indigenous to the land, then they are the heirs of the land. But how does it work exactly?
Well, in the 17 and 1800s, which is where grandmother and great-grandmother, where the corruption came in at, that's when the Albions came here en masse and just began dropping seeds. And so that's why we go back 2 to 3 generations. And when you go, and it's on mother's side. Mother is the one who, when we are conceived, okay, there is no blood that transfers during the conception process, okay? The blood is all made in mom, in our womb. So the blood that's manufactured and generated in our womb, manufactured is not really the right term, generated. The blood that is generated in our womb comes from our bone marrow. And that's why the heirs have the same bloodline as mother. Okay? And with the heirs having the same bloodline as mother from generation to generation to generation, that bloodline remains uncorrupted when mother and grandmother and great-grandmother are all heirs too. But if there is a hybrid corruption of the blood, and let's say one of the sons impregnates an Albion, then that's a little bit different. That's different. It's a lot different, actually, in some ways. Okay, that means that their child is not of us, and is not the bloodline is interrupted there. Okay, some people call it mitochondrial DNA that we give to our heirs. There is a certain metaphysical aspect to what we give to our heirs. I'm not sure if you all were aware of that, but there is a spiritual and metaphysical transfer that happens when the sovereign, indigenous, original, natural, divine mothers, Moabitesses, conceive and bear children. It is very spiritual, very metaphysical, very universal, and it cannot be duplicated in anyone's laboratory. Cannot.
Yes, I am aware.
They've tried. And so that's where nationality and the bloodline comes from. Okay? It's a pure bloodline. It's pure.
Absolutely.
And uncorrupted.
And
again, Grand Sheik mentioned that this past Friday at House of Reawakening Minds. And what I took from what he said in order to do the research on it, corruption is just like corruption in any other field. You know. And so mother and grandmother and great-grandmother need to be Moorish American nationals, because we actually, this bloodline are the primogenitors of all other nations of the earth. We are the first. We are the original bloodline, uncorrupted, of the very first from which all other nations, not societies now, nations sprang. The societies are they're a different breed, as it were. And that's not to say that they're not, because they're part of the estate, but they're in a different status as the heirs. Okay, and they're not, there's no ownership or no heirship or anything like that that comes with that status. That status was presented for a specific reason, and that reason has been fulfilled. And that's why we're waking up now to who we really are.
Islam. And
Were
then,
you going to say something, Justice Malik?
Yeah, I also wanted to know, as far as let's say our brothers and sisters that came from quote unquote Africa, right? And came over to the Americas and were born or have or let's say brothers and sisters or heirs of the land that were born here, but their guardians were from Africa, right? How are they able to nationalize, or how does it work for them?
They nationalize based on their homeland, quote unquote homeland. And here's the thing. They, again, are part of those nations that came from us. They're not the primogenitors like we are, but they are from the primogenitors. Okay, so slightly different, but still our kin. And so they nationalized based on the landmass that they were a part of, are indigenous to. Okay, now remember, as primogenitors, all land is ours. All resources are ours. That is why all corporations had to be registered here. Everything starts here with the primogenitors, with the first.
Excuse me, Empress. Like, I just have to ask this. You're saying all land. I understand all of the Americas, but are you saying all land as in the whole entire world?
All land as in the whole entire earth.
Wow. Okay.
Is a part of the estate of the primogenitors.
Okay.
Islam?
All right.
Islam.
Now,
Islam.
Let me clarify real quick before we go.
Can I say something, Sister Light, Islam?
Sure, you can. Sure. Go ahead.
Okay. And the fine proof of that, Noble Drew Ali, he left a affidavit in the Cook County Deeds of Record in Chicago, and it's called the 1010-5905. You can find evidence of the land that we own, and that's 3/4 of the earth. With that, I yield. Islam.
There was a question in the chat. Thank you, Justice Abasi. There's a question in the chat that says if a melanated sister, so I'm assuming you mean a Moorish American national, has an Albion's child, is the child an heir? Yes, the child is an heir. Any child that comes from the Moabites is an heir. Okay? Because the Moabites has always been the first, even before our sons came. We were here. We've always been here. So hovering just above that process of the Moorish estate is the Moabites, the first, the very first. And so there never was a time when we were not. And all of the nations of the earth, all the indigenous nations of the earth came from us in one way or another. Okay? We created, and then we procreated. We created, and then we procreated. Then we said, okay, we want a different type of being on the earth who's similar but not an heir, because there's some things we need to have done. So we created in the laboratory, we created the Albion. And they call it, and the Albions are well aware of they call it a divine spark. That's what they call it. They know that that their makeup is, we took some things from the rhesus monkeys, which is what RH positive and RH negative is all about. We took some things from there and took some things from someplace else, and put that together and sparked it up in the laboratory, and the Albion was created. And they're aware, they know where they come from. They say it all the time. You know, we're just now hearing them say it because they kept that in their chambers. But they know what we're telling you right now. And so they cannot own land here. They can't own anything here or anywhere. That's what a citizen is all about, and that's why it's incumbent upon the heirs to nationalize. We're not citizens. We are the heirs to all. And that has to be made clear in the minds of the heirs, because the heirs were the only ones who did not know that. Everyone else knew it. That we are the primogenitors, the first of all.
Islam.
That we have been here for trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of years. Trillions. Islam.
And this is Abasi. To add again, okay, and those are the real niggers, the troglodyte niggers. Okay, the troglodyte niggers. Look it up. You will see what that is. Islam. I rest. Islam.
That is a scientific designation for Albion.
How do you spell it?
Troglodyte.
T-R-O. Oh, go ahead, Justice Abasi. It's in the chat. It's misspelled in the chat, but it's in the chat.
Islam question.
Yes. Yes, Islam. With the question.
Yeah, my question I wanted you expound on in my study about the original man that represents 666. The 666 represent man, and it stands for six electrons, 6 neutrons, and 6 protons. Can you expound on that a little bit for me?
I will tell you what I know about that. Yes, and someone already put it in the chat. So when they talk about carbon-based beings, okay, that is the makeup of carbon-based beings. There are other elements and minerals and precious metals that we're made of also, aside from that. But carbon is the base. But carbon is not really even the base by itself. There are, again, we have what is called a noble element in us. And it's on the periodic table of elements. We are the only ones with that noble element in our makeup. We're the only ones with that noble element. Just look it up, periodic table of elements, and look up the element noble. It is the most non-reactive, okay? And when we say non-reactive, it just means that it's proactive and it does everything well in advance. That's how we operate.
Oh, geez, that's not true at all.
And that is how we're learning to operate as well. There's a little bit of noise coming from a couple of places. I'm going to mute just a couple.
Islam Empress Light, it is some of the troglodytes.
My question is, what made you want to become a police officer in the first place?
Okay, I'm just seeing a couple of things come up on the noise register, and I'll just mute them as they come up. Okay, there it is. That was where the noise was coming from. And so, you know, troglodyte nigger is not a term that I throw around a lot, especially because, to me, my nobility says it's not even necessary to throw that around, you know, like that. And they know who they are. We know who they are because we created them. And so we just move on and continue governing in our nobility, which when you get to the place where you don't necessarily have to just continue being in your face with it, then you're getting to a good place, because then your homeostasis will remain calm, you know. And that's really what nobility and that noble element is all about. It's a very calm, non-reactive element. Very calm, very non-reactive. And it is alkaline. It is the most alkaline element on the periodic table of elements, the noble. It's called a noble. And we generate that within us. We generate that. Okay? And so now that everyone knows who everyone is, we know that they are the blacks, we know that they are the troglodyte niggers, we know all of that. That's okay. It's out there, and okay. So now we can move past that and get on with the business of governing the vast estate. Okay? Because that's a very minor, that's so minor in comparison to what we really are here for and what we really have to do, that it's just unbelievable. Unbelievably minor. Islam.
Just wanted to do a little bit of camelbacking on some of this stuff. I wrote in the chat there that, you know, people don't need to know this information to be mean. They need to know it for the knowledge of who they are. But in addition to that, I sent out this afternoon to 50 people. I sent out an email with 2 links in it. If you got that email, it is really, you want to watch the first one and then the second one. You'll pick up a lot of what you need to then backtrack yourself. But it's there. So please, take the time to watch it, pay attention, and attention is going to pay you back. Islam.
Islam. Thank you. Islam. So now that we know all of that, we can move on past that. We're the heirs, period. There's no others. We're the primogenitors of all others. And so, you know, we're good with that. We're good with that information. And so now we can go ahead and be the governors, the presidents, the sovereign attorney generals, the sovereign secretaries for sovereign states. We can go about doing all of that. And for the Moors who have procreated with Albion, specifically the sons who procreated with Albion, that is, you need to protect and put them in your trust. They need to be put in your trust. And then for the sovereigns, the difference being is that our heirs have their own estate. From day one, there's a creditor. Okay? But you cannot be a creditor if you're not indigenous to the land. You can't be. That's not good math to think that. And so when foreigners come and
and attempt to, claim land, and they're now attempting to create titles. That's not even good math. And it's best that they not do things like that because it's not going to net them anything. Everyone must come through the heirs. Everyone must come through the heirs. Okay? And that's why this wake up is so important at this particular time, because it's time for everyone to get under their own vine and fig tree, and for the heirs to stand up and be fully mature sovereigns and fully mature executors, ministers, trustees, beneficiaries, heirs of their own vast estate. It's time. And we're there. The Moors are doing an awesome job of everything that needs to be done. Okay. And so when you have a chance, do the research on the corrupted bloodline. Okay, do the research on the corrupted bloodline so that you will know the difference between a citizen and a Moorish American national. And you will know the difference between a Moor who's from a different land mass and the primogenitors, because those differences do not separate us. Let me say that. That's important. It's important that we all know that we're not separate from one another. We're not separate. All of it is a part of our vast estate. All of the science that makes us who we are is a part of our vast estate. All of the science that makes the Albion who they are is a part of our vast estate. We're not mad at them. And we wouldn't have created them if they didn't have a purpose, and that purpose is what has been fulfilled. We're awake now. And so our job now is to govern the vast estate fearlessly and lawfully. And as you can see, they are getting in alignment. I heard some of the testaments when we first started about things that are happening that the Moors are seeing in their territory, where they're seeing the changes happen. That's actually happening all over. Where we're seeing that when we send affidavits and we do things lawfully, that everyone has to get in alignment with that. And in particular, those who are foreign. And they know that. In fact, they're not even really warring against that, And as long as we're in honor, when we do things, and in honor just means that we're being lawful and truthful about the things that we say and do, And we are, believe it or not, and this you'll find out later, some of you know already, that a sovereign can't even tell a lie. Why? Because when we say something, it's a done deal. It's a wrap already. That's why we have to be careful about what we say, because our word creates. Immediately, the minute we say it, it creates some energy that's going to go out there and do whatever we tell it to do. It will not return unto us void.
Yeah, right.
But will accomplish all that we send our word out to do. So even if we're, if we're thinking that we're, going to say something and it not be the truth, think again. It's going to be the truth. It's going to be the truth. Okay. And then there's some cleanup that's going to have to be done. If we say something and we didn't really necessarily mean that, what we said. Okay. Let me see what we can do here. Just a second. I think I got it. Okay. And so everyone, including the Albions, and this you're going to see starting now. It actually started last week, or maybe even before then. It just hasn't been shown to us until now. But all of that foreign media is going to start telling the truth about who they are and who we are. I heard one of the foreign Albions say this past week that and he's in media, he's in foreign media, he said specifically that they're being told that nothing is what they thought it was, and black is white and white is black. He said that specifically. And so they're going to start telling the truth, and they already have started telling the truth because they know who's what and who's who. There are some symbolic things that have happened. For example, moving the quote-unquote National Guard out of District 4 Columbia Territory. That's a symbol. That's symbolic that foreign occupation has left our land and cannot be here, because that's actually the only place they were supposed to be doing business anyway. And now that they're not doing business there, they have to be off the land. No foreign commercial mercenaries, no foreign militaries, etc. And see, in order for you to have a National Guard, you have to be a nation. And a society is not a nation. So that was a foreign type of situation anyway. Okay, so that should have never been on our land. I'm going to mute just a few more because there's still some background noise coming in on the recording. Are there any other questions about that and about nationality with regard to those who come from other lands as well? If Moors who come from other places, they nationalize, we can nationalize them, but we want to specify where the land that they're indigenous to. That's how we really want to do that. Okay? We want to specify the land that they're indigenous to, so that that land mass is covered. Okay. Let me look.
Islam.
Islam.
When President Trump says he's calling in the military, the troops, what does that mean?
First of all, he's not the president.
Right.
He's not the president. He's not, right. And in fact, there is no. He's operating under no authority at all. There's no authority. That's basically a non-existent entity right there that you're referring to. And so anything that is done from a non-existent entity is of no consequence to us. That's why we did the court action that we did, where we sent them off, because they have no authority over the Moors. They had none from the beginning, okay? That's number one. But number two, we wanted to proclaim that out openly, that we are now saying we self-govern, we govern ourselves, and no one speaks for us. And that is why you're seeing that whole thing go away. It's going away, and any proclamations or whatever declarations that you hear on the internet and stuff like that, that is of no consequence to the heirs. We might as well just keep moving, you know, keep moving, because it has nothing to do with us, because it's really, he's basically talking to a piece of paper, because he's a piece of paper. They only exist on paper, and they don't really exist there anymore, because we've rebutted that paper with our sovereign affidavit, living sovereign affidavit. And when you do that, those people don't exist anymore. So it doesn't matter what they say. I mean, you can even see where, you know, they were saying, you know, something about wearing masks or whatever, and not the citizens already even know not that they don't have to do that. The citizens even know that they don't exist, and that's not any authority on this land. And now the citizens are looking for the real heirs. They don't realize that they're looking for the real heirs, but they are. When they start doing things like digging through deeds to see if they can create a title to their property, They can't, because it still belongs. There is still, we still supersede all others on the land. Okay. There's a little bit of noise coming from somewhere. I want to be sure that I don't.
206.
Hold on for just a moment. Hold on. Okay, and so having said that, that is all I have for today. The fake media, those foreign entities, they're going to be telling the truth about who we are and who they are, that they're not white, they're black, and that they don't own anything. In fact, I saw on YouTube today, as a matter of fact, under one of the videos, where some entity called Christian Nation, something called, in all capital letters, so we know that's not a nation, but they said Christians don't own anything, that America is, you know, not, they don't own anything.
Islam?
So they're admitting their truth. America is American. It's about the heirs, and that's America in all lowercase letters. Islam.
Islam, this is Apollo Frank L., Georgia Territory.
Islam.
I wanted to ask, how should we go about setting up the like the more frequent conferences, like the way that you share yours on Facebook? Like I was trying to do the same thing, but I couldn't get mine to share.
I cannot understand what you're saying. It sounds a little garbled.
Can you hear me better now?
Yes. Yes.
I was saying, how do we set up these types of calls so that we can start doing like more frequent discussions in the way that you are able to like share it to the group and it comes up with the meeting ID and everything like that?
Mhm.
So
like, you want more calls throughout the week?
Well,
is that what you're saying?
Yes, I wanted to throw that out there too.
Do a call?
For anybody that wants to do more discussion on how we our affidavit. And also some of the topics from on Thursday where the brother was saying to go into the canon laws and look at how they describe some of the stuff that's like I wanted to go into that as well. So if anybody wants to on Tuesday or Wednesday or Monday, it doesn't really matter. You know, we govern, so this is I kind of want to get that started for anybody that wants to do that.
Yes. So anyone wanting to dig further into the canon law piece, Justice Apollo is going to be hosting some calls. Is that correct, Justice Apollo?
Yes. Can you can you email me Empress Light so that I could just get, because like I was trying to do basically how you share like the little post for our meeting. There's like an ID.
You can do that.
I was trying, but
that's
it wasn't
something.
Well, I was just having a difficulty.
Okay, so so the next time you want to share something, tag me and then send me a text message saying to go on and share, and I'll spread it all over. But you guys, you have to know how to do it too, so that even if you don't tag me, it gets everywhere.
Okay.
All I do is just hit the share button on Facebook and just put in all of the groups that I'm a part of. Are you familiar with that, Justice Apollo?
Yes. Yes.
And what is it? What happens when you try to share? Tell me what happens when you try to share.
Well, I can't remember. It was something like when, like I was trying to share it. I was trying to like basically, if you go on here and you go to host, I'm on a call right now, so it's not on the home screen. But you can go. You have invite and you have schedule. Like you have a host that you can actually schedule. But like the schedule schedules it on my phone, but it's actually like set up like a meeting with an ID, stuff like that. I don't know, but I'll figure it out.
Oh, so through free conference call, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Will you host a meeting through free conference call?
Yes, I was trying to host them through free conference call, and The same way you could like go to your camera roll and like share photos to Facebook and it comes up on Facebook. Like, I was trying to do that through the free conference call app, so it wasn't allowing me to like share, like the Facebook option was coming up to share it there in person. So like I copied it, like and I pasted it. It doesn't make sense.
I can barely hear you. You're going back into that garbled mode.
You said what?
If you just speak up just a little bit so I can hear what you're saying about that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Can you hear me better now?
Yes.
Okay. No, but I mean.
So then you're saying that it doesn't appear on Facebook the right way?
Yes, that is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yes.
So then just copy and paste the link. Sign on to your free conference call and then copy and paste the link onto Facebook, and it will pop up.
Okay.
Your profile will pop up and all of that. But you have to sign into your free conference call and then copy and paste the link onto Facebook, and it'll put and then as soon as when people see that on Facebook, all they have to do is hit what comes up, and it'll take them straight to your channel.
Okay, Islam. I was just more importantly, just letting people know like to look out for that before our next call on Thursday. I'm gonna try to do introduce. Yeah.
You trying to do a call before next Thursday?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just telling the more.
Tag me because I see you out on Facebook. Just tag me and then shoot me a text message, and I'll blast it out too. Whatever you put out there, I'll just blast it out and tell everybody to come.
Islam.
Yeah, I don't have no problem with that. But and you know this already. I don't mean to speak like I'm somebody's mother or something. But you all have to be able to do everything that I can do. Y'all can do, and most Moors know that. Everything that any of us can do, the others can do, and that's actually the point of the exercise that we did earlier today. When I could not speak on my phone, there kept being an emergency alert kept coming through. A presidential emergency alert kept coming through on my phone, and it wouldn't let me put the access code in. It just kept ringing, like So I couldn't put. And that's okay. They can do that because everything that's done is to elevate us. Everything that's done is to elevate us. And it can't just be one person elevating. That's why I don't mind the testing because I already know that we find a way around it just like water finds its way around everything. We're fluid like that. And so everyone on this call, is standing sovereign and competent. We're all shoulder to shoulder, standing one next to the other and supporting one another and competent and all of that. So, so that no matter what happens, the nation and the government keeps going. The Albions gave us a good example to follow in terms of they will kill one of their people, and I'm not saying that's going to happen to any of us, but I'm saying they will get rid of somebody and government continues, and that's fake government because it wasn't real. But that's just basically something for us to see and know that it must happen, that continuity of government is a must for our nation. It's a must. For the next 1,000 years, we have to plan that way, and we have to operate that way. And, Empress Michelle, Empress Valerie, Justice Apollo, the ones who stepped in, and Justice Malo, who stepped in and just kept things going. That's how we have to do.
Sure.
In case somebody gets hesitated, etc. So we do good. We're good. We do good. For us to be where we are, we're doing great. in terms of nationwide, like unifying and coming together and getting things going and working and courts going and supporting one another. We're doing an awesome job. We just have to keep that up. That's all we have to do is continue. And that's going to be easy because it's a joy to do, you know. So are there any other questions or comments or any court actions? We posted a series of court actions that are going to be going on between this past Friday and the following week. Are there any others? Islam.
I heard Abion say on YouTube today that the Constitution says Donald Trump no longer is president. It says the term the President of the United States expired January 20th at noon. Did you hear anything like that? Even though I know we did.
I heard something like that 2 years ago, actually. And again, he didn't exist and have any authority in the first place, but that's why we put out for all more to copy and originate, basically the original for you, a president for the United States for America affidavit. It's posted on Facebook, on social media, in the rooms, except in the Moorish American Consulate rooms, because we actually have always been the presidents, the governors, the secretaries for sovereign states, the attorneys general. We've always been all of that. They copied that from us. We are the president now. They know that. We're that. So we just put the affidavit out there just to make it formal, I guess, or just to notify, like we're supposed to do. We're supposed to notify everybody of what we're doing so nobody's caught off guard when one of the presidents shows up. And that's any one of you that are Moorish American nationals.
Islam?
Islam.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, just really quick, I wanted to add in on some of the things that I've been experiencing as far as me demonstrating my nationality in public. For some of the protests that was going on in my territory in Atlanta, I had engaged with some of the policy enforcers to see what they thought their system was.
What they thought what was?
What they thought their jurisdiction was, like what they thought their authority was, and also too, like I was on the phone with the sheriff yesterday because I had wanted to set up a meeting with the sheriff office to get to go over with them some of like the laws and what their constitutional obligations are, because the police at the protest were trying to tell the Moors what can and can't be done, or what we can and can't do on our own land. So he told me, when I was trying to set up a meeting, he told me that no one was in the office, and I was gonna have to wait until a later date to have the meeting with him. Just saying all that to say, like, I know now to like speak with the affidavit first, because if you go, just go ahead and speak with the affidavit first, because you can't tell me you're not gonna meet with me. Like, you have to meet with me when I say you have to. So,
well, I want to clear up just a little bit the concept there.
Well,
when he says
go ahead.
That there's no one in the office, he's right. You're it. You see, saying that no one's in the office is the truth. If the Moors don't step up and be that, okay? We are all of that. Those offices only were there until we woke up. That's why we keep putting the affidavits out. And then you can give him commands. There's no reason to meet with them. And this is just from the authoritative perspective. Okay, we're the sheriff, Sharif, We're all of that. All of those offices that we created, okay? We created it for us while we were asleep, for them to do things while we were asleep. But once we wake up, all those offices disappear, because it's like saying you have a policy, the law enforcement office. Okay, when the law actually shows up, the personification of law, this is like the real law. We're the actual law. When the actual law shows up, why do you even need an office? You don't, except to do what the law tells you to do, which means you're really just a subject doing what the law tells you to do, which is what you're supposed to do, you see. And so for you to, and it's a great demonstration, I'll tell you that. That's bold. That is a bold demonstration. I admire your boldness. Okay.
Islam.
We're already that. They're going to continue to say the office is empty. That means you're it. He knows you're it. And he ain't supposed to be in there pretending to be the law.
Right.
He's just not.
Islam.
So that's why we speak by affidavit. That's why we speak by, because by affidavit we're just telling them this is this and this is this. That's all.
Go ahead.
Yeah. We want to make sure
can you hear me?
Yeah, but I want to make sure that the noble that did the awesome demonstration was meeting with the sheriff. I want to make sure that is that we deal with that situation too. It's a bold demonstration, brother. I admire that.
Empress. So when they was doing the protest out there, I was down there. We was down in the park, right? And I have my fez on, and you know what I'm saying, people out there they're protesting or whatever, and I could
speak up just a little bit, because it seems like the sound is a little bit. Speak right into
hold on, can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's better.
I'm just saying, I was just saying all of that to say, like, definitely speak by the affidavit first, because I'm thinking that, like, at that moment, I guess I was thinking that some of them were going to be in alignment with the Constitution. Like, it was just like when I was there with my fez on and everything, and I had asked some of the officers or some of the policy enforcers to let me speak to the supervisor. So I did talk. The supervisor, when it was like they had a barricade of bicycles, like police bikes set up with like the National Guard, and then like the supervisor was out there. But he saw me. I think he saw me before I actually saw him. Remember, I have a fez on, so like he comes to like the area where I am, because I'm asking other people for him, and when he finally gets to me, it's like he doesn't want to make eye contact with me. He doesn't want to acknowledge me. I had to like really try to like get his attention, and then when I finally do get his attention, we basically just end up, you know what I'm saying, getting in a back and forth, because I'm bringing up all the facts and everything, and he's just like, you know what I'm saying, very uncomfortable, at least the way that I perceive him to be. And I asked for his supervisor, and then he told me his supervisor, he gonna tell me his supervisor not available. I'm like, what? So it's just... You
are his supervisor.
Well,
he knows that.
Islam.
You have to know it. You're the one who does not know who's in authority. They know already. That's the thing. You're asking for people when you're it. You see?
Islam.
And not only that, but and this is not a like, because again, that was just bold, brother. This is bold. You just, I love it. But that's a citizen situation right there. All that protesting and stuff. I didn't go out to a protest. I'm just gonna tell you, because I already know that we're the remedy to that. But we're the remedy when we do it by affidavit, you see. All the citizens are saying is we need the laws to get in place and tell us what we're supposed to be doing, because we're unhappy right now. And that's our job. They're looking to the right one, and they're trying to tell us, when we say, let me speak to the manager, you know, well, they're like, well, we waiting for you to realize you're it. Well, let me speak to the governor. I want to speak to the president. That's you. That's you. And now you just have to give commands by affidavit. See, the protests were for citizens. That is civil rights and citizen stuff all day long.
Islam.
Okay.
Can you hear me, Ember?
Yes. Okay,
I can
hear you. Go ahead.
Not to cut you off, but I just wanted to ask a quick question and just also remind the Moors that we should. I think we should have another call about what we mean by affidavit, because to really understand how powerful and how the affidavit can be effectuated, because you got a lot of ways that you can use your affidavit. If you give somebody you could walk into anywhere and give someone an affidavit hand to hand. You can and then does that, and a question that I had about that was would that get into certification of service? Obviously you can mail something off. You can mail something off with your certified return receipt, and that's one way. But isn't another way also, could giving it to someone in person be essentially the same thing?
You can do that if you need to do it in that time frame. You can do that. However, we are non-reactive. So we're not going to wait until something happens and then go hand somebody an affidavit. We're working to be proactively governing already. We have to anticipate what's happening, which we already know what's happening, and then we give commands based on what's happening already, or what's going to happen, or any of that. Everything is already laid out for us, so it's not as proactive to walk around with giving people affidavits and giving them commands right on the spot. The nobility must let them know, let the subjects know, on this day we're coming into this place right here on our land, and we're giving you notice that we're coming in on that date. Okay, that is how good government is done. You wouldn't want some policy enforcer. If we were citizens, we wouldn't want them coming to our domicile with a warrant saying, like they did in the past, saying stuff, which they didn't come to us. But I'm just saying, we don't want it to be a instant same day thing when we can plan ahead. You see. That's really good government, when you can plan ahead and then say, I'm coming in on this date, this is what needs to be done. These are the commands for that day. We want to do it that way. That's better, a better way to do it. Let our documents and our affidavits precede us. Go before us and speak and have the grounds ready. Have the land ready, have everything ready, so that when the nobility arrives, there are no issues. That's the best way to do it. Because we don't want to, we always want to match that which we want done, where we're concerned, let's see. And then with regard to them, to the Albions and, people wanting to military up and Moors, there are some Moors who really want to do the whole military piece and gun up and all of that. We don't need to do any of that. We don't need to do that. I know some don't agree. Guns are primitive in comparison to what we really can do. Guns won't help somebody when they have to deal with our ancestors. Guns won't even help them. And in fact, they have not helped them up to now. We're still here. Look at all the stuff that was supposedly attempting to be done towards us. And here we stand, governing. So guns are not, and everybody had, supposedly had a gun or whatever, and they threatening all this and that. One thing you don't do is threaten a sovereign. You don't do that. And we don't, all we do is just say, you know, we just ask, hey, we're peaceful, are you threatening the sovereign? And then the ancestral energy comes in when we do that. I've done it several times on social media where I'll ask someone, are you threatening the sovereign, original, indigenous people? And they always backtrack and say, no, I'm not doing that, blah, 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 blah. You know, repeatedly. I've done that many times, actually. Go out there on YouTube and read some of the stuff, you know. So now I don't even, because to me it's not about flexing our sovereign, you know, ancestral energy, which is all powerful. It's about governing peacefully on our land. That's our deal right there. That's where we are. You know, guns have nothing on ancestral energy.
Islam.
Nothing. Islam.
Islam.
Islam, yes.
This is Kevin Kevin Bryant Donnell L. out of Columbus, Ohio. And I tried to call in with the access code on the phone, and I repeatedly tried to get in, and they kept rejecting me, and I couldn't get in. So I had a call from another phone, and I got in. And I don't know if it was from my demonstration that I did last conference call that we had or what, but could it be interrupted? Like, is there any, you know, agents trolling or anything that would cause my phone where I wouldn't be able to get on this conference call?
Well, we both, me and you must have done the same demonstration, because I'm actually right now I'm speaking to you through someone else's phone.
Wow.
Because I tried calling in and I tried putting the access code in and it wouldn't let me in. It kept doing the presidential signal where the phone would ring really loudly like that. And every time I tried to call in, that sound came through the phone. I'm okay with it, because our ancestors, like, we cannot be stopped. Period.
Yes.
Like, no matter what, we can't be stopped.
Okay.
So don't worry about it. It's just, you know, the ancestors saying, okay, find another way to do it.
Yeah,
and we do every time.
I figured that.
I see in the chat some have said that their devices were doing the same thing or something similar, you know. And then even even though some can see me on this call right here because I always have my camera on, by the time I run it through free conference call to download it, free conference call wipes the video away, so I have to put it up on YouTube as audio. The information is still going out. So however it gets out there, I'm good with that. It's going to get out there, though. You're not going to not get it out there, you know, just because. We just find a way, and if we don't find a way, we make a way, period. Islam.
This is Queen Bay. You got that right, because I have my phone in my hand and it was breaking up, and then I said, well, let me borrow one of my the siblings' computer. Got on that so I can see it, but it won't let me speak on it. So I said, okay, I'm gonna have my phone in my hand, able to speak, and then let me have the computer sitting right here so I can see the chat. And then it wouldn't put, you know, I couldn't put anything in the chat. So I said, you know, I got the phone right here. Let me put something in the chat. So I've been going back and forth, and the children, of course, got me busy. But, you know, yeah, find a way, make a way. There can't be no stopping, you know. To the will, there's a way.
All day, every day. Listen, we've been here for trillions of years. We ain't going nowhere, okay? Unless we want to go somewhere, unless we want to visit someplace else. But, you know, and they're going to stop all that foolishness too. We about to make it so that all of that stuff can just it might as well stop. We're not, because it's not hindering us. You know, it may slow us down for 5 or 10 minutes, but that's about it. We're good.
Islam.
We're determined to be together. Islam, go ahead.
I have a tip. Just in case you have that phone number issue, you can download like Text and Talk or different apps on your phone and get a new number. You can switch it out. So, just an idea.
Islam.
That's good. That's good.
Islam, but I'm actually on
I'm
actually on Wi-Fi right now. I'm not even on a on a actual line to call out. So you're saying that I can switch that phone number or something? What are you saying? Switch your own phone number, or are you switching the call-in access phone number?
Yeah, it's an app, right? So what it does is it asks you to assign it a number. So you can pick your area code and pick a phone number out of the list. So if they are blocking your service provider phone number, you can use that app number and still call in and talk on it that way.
Wow, that's awesome.
Peace.
I need to get with that too, for real. Justice Minnie, I see you in the chat, Justice Minnie. Islam.
Islam.
All right. Yes.
This is Patrick Carroll Bay from Columbus Territory, Territory. I got a situation, Kevin, I hope you're still listening. They kidnapped my son and they have him incarcerated, and they won't let me come into court or do anything. I know they're not the court. I'm the court. So the suggestion should be just to send them an affidavit, because right now they ain't telling me nothing.
Hold on for just a second. Let me get that. Go ahead. Go ahead, Justice.
They're not. I've spoken with my son, and they're not giving him any information. They're saying that he can't say nothing. And should I just shoot them an affidavit, and as well as an affidavit with command to release my son?
Yes, and you do want to do a court action, because a higher court must speak. Okay, so you want to do a court action as well. And in order to do the court actions, all you do is go out onto YouTube and look at how the court actions are done, and do them from that perspective. And really, when Moors do the court actions, this is how they do it. This is how the learning curve is made very, very steep. Just go out on YouTube and listen to the language that's being used in the court actions. Write it down. Tailor it to the court action that you're doing. The paperwork is already being shown out there on social media as well. And copy the paperwork as you see it out there on social media. I mean, out on YouTube at Light Tajiri Bay channel. That's why they're out there, so that you can recreate that process and do a court action. And then send the command on that court action to those who are holding your son. Okay?
They won't give me no name. I haven't gotten any names yet. And due to
so it would be the chief magistrate, quote unquote, the one doing business as chief magistrate for that fake court, or and also, or you can do it with the chief policy enforcer for that corporation that's holding. And also, you can do the court action, and you can put all of these into one court action. The chief policy enforcer, the chief magistrate, and then whoever it is that's over the facility that is holding your heir.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
I'm gonna be confident on that. I appreciate that.
Go ahead. I can't hear you, Justice.
I said I appreciate that. I'll be confident on that. I'm gonna do the studies and do what I need to do.
Yes. The examples are out there already. Just a minute, let me make sure, like, because there's a little bit of noise coming from a couple of the places, so I'm going to move just a couple. Let me And so there are examples out there of the court actions. All you have to do, write down the words that we use in our court actions, look at the documents, and make your documents look like those documents, and then do your court actions. Get you a free conference call line or a Zoom or any other platform that you want to use, YouTube Live, Facebook Live, however you want to do your court actions. And you can do it that way, or you can do the court action and just, if you don't want to put it out on social media, you can do your own court action on the side, so to speak. In other words, offline. You can do court actions and then send that stuff out, send the documents out with regard to the court actions. It's best to put them somewhere on the public record, though, as well, so that they know who the governor is and who the justice is in that territory.
Say that one more time.
I said it's best to put it out on the public record somewhere, so that those who are pretending to be the authority can see who the real authority in that territory is, so that they're not confused in any way as to who's governing there.
I will do it.
Yes. And, you know, the court actions have brought some out of their comfort zone, but we have to be out of our comfort zone in order to get the governing done, you know. And once you come out of your comfort zone, you actually can feel your power come through, your authority. The real authority that you really actually have on this land comes through when you do things like the court action, you know.
But they got my ear, so they're about to see that.
Yes. That is actually the real energy that we all should have. It's like, these people are birthright stealing. We need to, like, get governing here and tell them who's really in charge here.
Taking everything not to go in there and try to rip them doors off to get my baby out of there, man. I mean.
Well, you know, that's what they want you to do, is try to come and do stuff like that when they know that the real deal is the court action. They know that that's the real thing that they must be subjected to. They know that. That's why they put all of that gun action out there on the TV, you know, and on social media. They like to put all of that out there because that's a distraction from the real deal, what's really going on. And since we started governing through court action and through liens, that's why they don't have a choice. That's why you're seeing the changes happen like you're seeing them, because the Moors have decided that, no, we're not going to buy into that gun violence and all of that stuff that you're talking about. We're not buying that. We know what the real deal is. It's the law. And who's governing these resources in this land, you know. So go get them that way. That's really how you get them. You know, and it's not even a matter of it's not a war. It's not about war. It's about who's in charge on the land, who's governing here. We are, not some bandits taking heirs and holding them for ransom, because that's all that is, you know.
Yeah.
So, having said that, we're going to continue this call on next week. Thank you, everybody, for just keeping it going and contributing despite the technical difficulties. The air still got it done. Islam. So peace and grand rising until Thursday. Oh, Justice Malik is going to do something. I mean, Justice Apollo is going to do something between now and Thursday as well. So just be on the lookout on social media for any of the boards that are having calls, court actions, etc. Let's support one another as much as we can on that. So be on the lookout. We'll be announcing all of that stuff. Just stay plugged in to the real deal, the real matrix, which is the Moors. Islam. Peace and grand rising.
Islam.
Islam. Peace and love.
Much love. Grand rising.
Grand rising.
Islam. Grand rising.
Grand rising more.
real quick.
Justice Valerie and Justice Michelle and Justice Melo, thank you so much. You all absolutely rock empathy. I love it. We got this. We got it.
Empress, I have a question.
Grand Rising.
Grand Rising.
Grand Rising.
I was trying to figure out how to get the files. I'm going to the page and they're not even showing up on the Facebook page.
What's not showing up on the Facebook page?
The Windows files.
Just go to North American Consulate, west or northeast or south or central or Canaan land, and you can the announcements will be, and also North American Consulate Public Records page on Facebook.
Okay, that's what I need to go to.
And you can see the court actions, etc.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm normally on top of it.
You're welcome.
And I always got my stuff, but since everything's been put back in lowercase, I haven't gotten any of that yet. So thank you very much. I need to redo everything.
You can make your own too. You can do yours in lowercase and red. It's the same documentation and paperwork. It's just done in red in all lowercase letters. That's all. That's the difference.
Okay, and that was a genius piece that you gave us as far as the MAC number. I like that. There's a person here where I am. He gave me a call last week and he name dropped me and like I told him, bro, I'm not the leader of anything except for my trust, so never mistake that again. But he keeps calling me about that, so now I have something that I can tell him, and thank you very much.
Yes, you're welcome, Islam. Thank you for the demonstrations. They're powerful, very powerful.
You have a beautiful DEY.
It's just an awareness, right? It's an awareness. What they talk about.
Islam and Grand Rising.
Islam
and Grand Rising.
Islam, Noble Timothy, Ashan Bay, Virginia Territory.
Islam, Virginia Territory.
Islam.
All right, sis.
I've
been waiting for some contact. I've been waiting on some contact.
I've
been waiting on some contact.
Talking about harp on that though.
Can I give the email now?
Yes. Because I didn't understand what
yes.
I think that's
okay. It's fervor makeup. That's F fervor